Hey there, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it is your first time here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is an episode of #FridaySews, so I'm going to be talking about what I got up to in the last week in terms of sewing, what my plans are for next week, and a little bit about life. Thank you so much to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for starting this hashtag, and it's a really great way to bring the sewing community together every week to talk about what we've been doing with all of our friends here in the sewing community. If you do enjoy this video, I hope you hit the like button, and if you are not already a subscriber, I hope you consider subscribing and sticking around to see more videos from me. Please comment below your thoughts on what I'm talking about. Let me know what you're up to this week. I love interacting with you guys in the comments and hearing all about what you're up to. This week, I'm back. My family was on a 3-week road trip, and we got back last Saturday, so almost a week ago, and I'm back with my machine, back in my little sewing nook, and I am just so happy to be back. I am kind of in the process of reorganizing things because I did pick up some fabric and sheets and things on vacation. I talked about them in a couple of my Friday sews while I was gone. So as I was starting to put that away, I looked at my sewing area and was like, let's reorganize all of this. I'm moving in a month, so I don't know why I felt like I needed to do it, but we're in the process of that. So things are a little bit of a mess, but I also did some sewing, some very frantic sewing. I was so excited to be back. I wanted to get something done. I really wanted to get something made. It was very frantic. It's not the highest quality garment, but it serves the function that I wanted it to. It is Simplicity 9336 View A, View A, the shorts. They do have a pocket on them, but I did not do the pocket. I also shortened them by about 2 inches because I wanted them to go under dresses and skirts, because I have a 1-year-old and I'm crawling around after her and bending down to pick up all the stuff she drops and whatnot. So I just wanted a pair of very lightweight, not too tight shorts to go underneath. So I made these. They're like not even, the legs are not even the same length. They're rough, but they serve the function. I'll insert a video of me wearing them under a dress. They're great. So far, they are exactly what I needed. They are pretty sheer. I would never wear these on their own. Let's just put it that way. And I'm not going to show you a video of me modeling only them because, no one needs to see that. But they were very easy to make, 3 pattern pieces. And yeah, it came together really easily, really quickly, especially because they're not the greatest, because I didn't do the greatest job. But I've worn them like twice already this week and they do great. They're very lightweight. It was called like a travel knit from Hobby Lobby. Very light, more breathable than I thought it would be. I did not want them to be too tight, and I did not want them to be like compression style because I thought that would get too hot. I really wanted something that would feel almost like I wasn't wearing them. The only thing I really noticed is the waistband, obviously the elastic in it. So they're really just here for modesty's sake, and so I can be a little more comfortable moving around during the day, and they do great at that. So I sewed those, and then my big plan right now in the next couple weeks is to get a bunch of things cut, to do a lot of kind of batch cutting. We are being packed on the 5th of September. So most of my sewing stuff is going to go. I'm going to keep my machine, and I want to keep some projects. I already have a quilting project picked out to take with me that I started a couple months ago and needed to put away for a little bit. I'm ready to get going on that again. So I already have that done. And now I am cutting out just some garments to take to work on. One of them is Simplicity 9691 View B, the joggers, for my husband. I have 2 fabrics that I want to make them out of for him, but I wanted to check the sizing first. So I had this sweatshirting from years ago that I was using as the back of a t-shirt quilt. So I cut these out right before we left on vacation, but didn't get a chance to put them together. I started putting them together last night, because like I said, I want to check the sizing before I cut the other ones. It was all going really well until I hit the, oh, my baby's upset. I assume she's being told she can't walk on the couch because she wants to do that. Until I hit the waistband. There's just a lot of excess to the top of the pants and like not as much circumference in the waistband, and it doesn't stretch enough to like compensate. I think where I messed up is it just doesn't have enough stretch. I didn't check the pick a knit rule. It doesn't seem like that much to me, so I was like, oh, it's probably fine, and I'm just making these basically as a wearable muslin to see if they work for him, but it, I mean, does not have the give it needs to. So I was talking to Adam, and I was like, okay, I can either just, we know that the body of it fits you, like the legs fit you, so I can either like scrap this, be done, and go ahead and cut the other two fabrics that are going to be your nicer pairs, or I can cut a bigger waistband and cuff. I have the same issue with the cuff. Cut a bigger waistband and cuff. The waistband will be fine, I would think, probably a little bulkier than you want, but fine because there's going to be elastic in it. I said, or I can find a different fabric, either from my stash or the store, that is stretchy enough to compensate. He said to do whatever will make them wearable so I don't have to just trash them. So I'm still kind of thinking through that. I am going to Joann's today because of something else I'll talk about in a minute. I might look and see if they have something that coordinates decently well. I don't think it would be weird to have a different fabric. I mean, people use rib knits for cuffs and stuff all the time, so I think it'll be fine. I'm not 100% sure though, but I do know at least that the medium adult size and that fits him. Those are the things I worked on. I did cut some other things, mostly for Brady, some pajamas, and then these U-pants, that's what I call them, from Berta. Berta patterns were on sale last weekend, and they're very rarely on sale, so I did pick up a couple. I got this Berta 9312, mostly for the U-pants. Old Navy sells pants like this, and they are great for cloth diapers because they have this extra crotch space, a little extra room in the trunk. So these are great, and they don't take much material. They're actually double-sided, which I didn't realize. I saw this 1 and 2, and I thought it was just the cuff was going to be a different fabric, but they are actually reversible, which if you actually pay attention to the front, it does kind of show that more clearly. Cut those out of some remnants and clearance fabric I found when I was there getting the patterns with my mom. This cute little nautical. I clearly did not cut it quite straight. It was hard to get straight. And then just a white cotton jersey. The other Berta patterns I picked up are Berta 9279. This little rain suit and then a hat. But I mostly got it for the rain suit for Brady, just because I think it would be interesting to try sewing with a different type of fabric. I've never sewn with a coated fabric. You can also do it out of sweatshirting or fiber fleece, but I thought that was fun, cool, useful at some point. And I got 2 for Adam, 7045 and 7046. He is a slim person. He's a very slim build. And so I was hoping, when I looked on Simplicity and was looking at men's patterns, a lot of the Berta ones did specify that they're more of a slim fit. My plans for next week are to continue getting my sewing nook in order. I do want to do a video of my sewing space before we are packed out and move, to show just kind of how I've made a smaller area work. It's a corner of our bedroom. Our bedroom's weirdly large. This house is terribly laid out, kind of. There's a lot of square footage, but almost none of it is really usable. So I have taken over a corner of our overly large bedroom, but it works. It is functional. It is enough space. and I think I'm going to do a video of kind of a small sewing area tour just to show how I have made this space work in our home. Other things I want to do is cut more projects. I have kind of a long list. I'd rather have too many things to potentially work on while I don't have all of my stuff than not enough. And it'll just be nice to have things cut. I'm kind of in a cutting mood, so I just want to get things cut and ready to go. The only problem with batch cutting I have found is that I cut it out and I'm like, okay, I want to sew it now. Like those U pants, it's one pattern piece, first of all, which is really cool. But I cut them out and was ready to sew. I was like, okay, I can whip these up, which is almost never how it actually works. So I didn't start sewing them, but I get excited about that project. And then I cut the next one. I'm like, okay, well, I could do this one now. So that is the only downside to batch cutting I found, is I just really want to get sewing and have to have the self-control to continue working through the cutting. I'm going to Joann's today because my best friend wants to start sewing. She has a machine picked out. She has not bought it yet, but she picked it out, and then she's basically starting from scratch. So I got a decent amount of supplies from my mom, and she's continued to give me things over the years that she kind of upgrades or finds extras that she has. But my best friend is starting from scratch. So I just wanted to go make her kind of a small, enjoy getting started kit. I was thinking seam ripper, some like tracing products. She wants to sew a little bit of everything, and I think that's totally normal as someone that's starting. She wants to do some mending and alterations, and she said maybe some garments and probably some quilting, which, I mean, she hasn't done anything yet, so she doesn't really know what she's going to like yet, and you can do it all if you want to. So I want to get her a seam ripper, thread snips. Adam's idea was a tracing wheel, because he was like, well, you use yours all the time, which is true. So tracing wheel, probably some marking tools, just a couple small things to put in a small kit for her so that she doesn't have to go spend as much money to get started. And, you know, welcome her to sewing, because it's a hobby that I get so much joy out of. We all get so much joy out of. And I really hope she enjoys it too, because that would be great for me. She unfortunately we don't live in the same place anymore. So it's kind of a bummer. It would be nice to live in the same place and be able to sew together, but maybe in the future, hopefully in the future. So that's why I'm going to Joann's today. If any of you have ideas of some small things I could just put in this box to welcome her to the sewing community, please let me know. Pins, I was gonna just get a thing of pins for her, a couple small items that'll just be nice for her to already have when she starts a project. I think interfacing is on sale, so I was going to pick up some interfacing for her, and I'm going to send her some of my like fat quarters and scraps that I don't see myself using for practice. Hopefully a couple different types of fabric that she can practice on as she's learning to sew, because I don't want her to have to spend money on fabric just to practice sewing something. That is what I currently have planned to put in the box. I'll probably do a little browsing, and then as I see things on sale, I want to send the box before we move. So in the next couple of weeks, send that her way to help get her started, because it's so exciting. I'm so excited for her. In terms of life, like I said, we are home. We are settling back into a routine. Adam is studying for a board certification. So he completed a residency for pharmacy. He's already a pharmacist. It's for clinical pharmacy. He completed his residency, and then he can now take a board certification, or I guess he can take a board certification to become a board certified pharmacology specialist, BCPS. So he is studying for that. He's taking the test September 8th. So he is spending pretty much all day, every day studying and getting ready for that, because it's a big test. So it's kind of back to just Brady and I all day, every day, which is fun for the most part. I love spending time with her. She has decided that naps are totally optional, which is kind of a bummer, because that was most of my sewing time, was her nap time. And she just doesn't really do that consistently anymore. Maybe 20 minutes, an hour if we're lucky. Most days it's zero napping, and and she just keeps trucking along. So it is, the level of parenting got a lot harder when she decided not to nap anymore. But we're here now, and it's fine. It is what it is. We stopped at our house in Mississippi, the one that we're moving to, in a couple of weeks. We stopped there on our way back from the road trip, and I took a video of what will be my sewing room. It's a pretty narrow room, and there's no natural light into it. So that's going to be interesting. Thankfully, my machine has a really bright light, and then I can obviously bring in more lighting. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm just glad to have a room, honestly. I don't even care. I was like, whatever, I don't need natural light. I just want my own space. So that is super exciting. I will insert that video here. Okay, this is my new sewing room. It's windowless and pretty narrow. So it'll be kind of interesting to arrange things, but there are a bunch of outlets along this outer wall, or I guess inner wall technically. And yeah, it will do. And if you have any ideas of how to kind of manipulate the space or make it work, please let me know. I have this L-shaped desk that I am planning on keeping as part of my sewing setup. I have been looking at some sit to stand desks from IKEA for my cutting space, because I do want it to be tall, but since we're gonna move again in 4 years and who knows what kind of space I'm gonna be dealing with next, I would like the furniture to not be too terribly specific to sewing. Dude, I don't know, I'm all over. Bree just also didn't sleep last night, like at all, it felt like. So my brain is not exactly occupying my head right now. That's just the phase of life we're in. At least I'm not poor Adam, who has to go study statistics. At least I am not poor Adam, who has to go study statistics today. So I forgot to include this detail earlier because I'm severely sleep deprived and basically drunk from exhaustion. But we stopped at my mom's house to pick up Copper on our way back from our road trip. Copper is our sweet old beagle. And I got a bunch of boxes from her that had my old stuff and some furniture, things like that. Well, I was going through the boxes and I found this notebook that my parents gave me when I was based on the year, like 8th grade or so. And in it, I have a list of McCall's patterns, and I have no idea why. I have no recollection. I looked them up, and I'm gonna post some pictures of them because I don't know why I wrote this list down. I just thought it was really cool to find it though. I was really into fashion around that time. I was like, reading Vogue and watching Project Runway, so I might have been interested in learning how to sew my own clothes and then just never actually followed through with it. But it's McCall's 5577, 5658, 5717, and 5714. So I don't know if they're patterns my mom had or if I was looking online. I have no idea, but I just thought it was really interesting to find this list of patterns that a long time ago I was interested in. That does it for this week's episode of Friday Sews. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button. Let me know in the comments what you're working on this week, what you got accomplished, what your plans are, and let me know a little bit about your life. It's fun to talk to you guys in the comments, and I want to know more about you. So let me know what you're up to. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.